In the middle of this retreat, Google announced that they would not be deprecating the cookie after all across Google Chrome, which was both, I think, a surprise to everyone and a surprise to no one, because they have really been punting it down the road for about 5 years now. I think as an advertiser on the buy side, I see it as both a good and a bad thing that they're actually not going to be getting rid of the cookie. I think the biggest challenge that the cookie presented was it is a non-persistent, in a lot of cases, inaccurate identifier for reaching audiences. And so the benefit of getting all of our advertisers ready for a cookieless future was forcing them to look at identity from a true people-based perspective, getting an identifier that was more persistent than the cookie, and really understanding audiences with more edification than they could in the past. But I think the reality is that whether Google was going to deprecate it last year, next year, or never, the cookie itself is just one tool as a means to reach those actual audiences and the true identity of someone. And so as we think about solutions like Epsilon's Core ID, they know exactly who an individual is. And cookies can help complement, sure, how we find those people. And it serves as an identifier, albeit a little bit of a tricky one to reach those audiences. But it is not in and of itself an audience identifier. And so I think the threat or the promise, whichever way you look at it, of Google getting rid of the cookie helped us push advertisers and brands to really focus on true audience and identity strategy, and that in and of itself is a win. So if a brand was ready for the cookieless future, quote unquote, or not, really doesn't necessarily matter, because cookies are gone from so many different browsers besides Google. While Chrome makes up a huge share, it is just one of the many browsers and places that people are accessing the web. So it really did force us either way to get to a place where we're ready for a cookieless future, but we still have it as a tool in our arsenal.
Yeah, you raised a lot of great points there. In the preparation for the cookieless future, and plus all these concerns about privacy, it seems as if this train has left the station. There's no going back. So how else do you see things evolving?
From an audience perspective and an identity perspective, I think we're going to continue to see collaboration across the different partners. As we understand, there's more than one identity infrastructure, and it really is incumbent upon all of our partners, advertisers, brands, to come together and collaborate so that we do have kind of one consistent way of working and one language to be speaking, even if we all sit on slightly different identity platforms. So I see more collaboration. I see, the Google issue specifically, and Google Chrome deciding not to deprecate the cookie, I think does raise additional concerns around privacy. They have promised that they're going to give consumers the opportunity to opt out, but I think what we've seen from other opt-outs across other platforms and other parts of the industry is that they're really either one, like a hostage negotiation, click here or you don't get your content, or they're buried really deep. And so I think, one way or the other, we're still going to see privacy challenges as things like cookies persist, whether consumers opt in or not. We know that we're going to have to continue to combat those challenges, and it is incumbent upon then brands and advertisers to make sure they're using consumer data in a privacy-safe, compliant way.
And you mentioned Epsilon. I'm fascinated by Epsilon. Maybe you could tell us just a bit more about what it is and what its capabilities are for brands.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Epsilon, which was acquired by Publicis a number of years ago, is in and of its core an identity platform. We sit on what's called the Core ID, which has persistent identity for over 250 million people in the US, and over 7,000 attributes about each of those individuals, where they shop, what they consume, what they buy. And what we've done is develop that into a platform called Epsilon People Cloud, where all of our advertisers and brands and agencies can tap into that identity, better understand consumers, learn more about them so we can better reach them and create messages that better resonate with them, but also then push those audiences into our buying platforms to reach them in real time.
Okay, and just finally, is there anything that you're most excited about looking ahead, or anything that you're worried about, or perhaps would like to see happen?
I think one of the things I'd like to see happen is push back towards one to some. I think we went too far down the one-to-one path, and for maybe a few advertisers out there, it makes sense to be thinking about one-to-one. Either the purchase or ticket price is so high that getting really, really granular with your audience data and your creative makes sense. But for the majority of advertisers, especially those in categories like QSR and CPG, who really have broad audiences, it's challenging because personalization still matters, and you still need to be speaking to someone in a way that resonates with them, but it doesn't need to be one-to-one. And I think we're starting to see a swing, the pendulum swing back to the middle on this one to some. And I think announcements even like, Google continuing to have cookies available allows us to really reach people in that one to some environment.